2-point-something million people or 3 million. But over 2 million people are farmers. And so, a good government of this nature, on arrival in 2015, embarked on all the agricultural establishment in the state, including the rice processing plants, the fertilizer blending plants, and all the roads, because all farming inputs and farming productions comes from the rural areas. And he sees what is on ground. So I'm going to address where we were and where we are now in agriculture. On arrival, the fertilizer blending company of this state was producing 15 metric tons of fertilizer a day. But as I speak, we are producing 40 metric tons. This means that we have ability to supply the whole southeast and south-south. As at this moment, we are supplying the southeast, the north-central, and the south-south fertilizer, which is the food for the land. And every man needs food to survive. After that, we looked at where Ebonyi people used to be, using the whole machete to the farm. In 2016, we procured 40 tractors to ensure that our land is fully mechanized. And as I speak, every part of Ebonyi state has tractors that works in their fields. And before then, the long acquired Ejulo rice farm was abandoned. Nobody knew that there was a farm there. But today, everybody in Ebonyi state, because of the giant stride that have been backed by this government, led by Engineer David Nwezumai, we have a field where every Ebonyan goes there to get a land at a very cheap rate and farms. Only a Ejulo farm produces up to 5 billion naira a year from rice production alone. Moving from there, Ebonyi State has the biggest mushroom farm in the whole federation. And as I speak, we still produce for the whole southeast, the whole south-south, and the north-central. The mushroom is very sweet. You need to test it, and it's very medicinal. The Ebonyi rice, at the time of this government, was producing 350 metric tons a year. As I speak today, we produce 1,350,000 metric tons of rice paddy per year. And so, it is my belief that we have touched lives. In 2017, this government doled out 4 billion for the civil and public servants to engage in agriculture. This makes us different. We have abundant food. The price is not a problem because we're into agro-business. What we are thinking about is making Ebonyi State the food hub of the country, where everybody comes to get food. And as I speak, we no longer contest for whether we are going to be choosing as an agricultural state. We are #1 in the southeast. We are #1 in the south-south. And I believe that with what is on ground, before we leave office, Ebonyi State must have moved from the level we are now, where we process rice and sell rice, to industrialization, where our rice and all we are producing from the rice can be used to produce other things. As I speak, the byproduct of our rice is used to produce beer in Nigeria. And the beer you drink everywhere is the product of our rice. And so I want to stop here and thank all the audience for this governance. We have been giving these facilities for everyone. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next presentation will come from Honorable Commissioner for Infrastructural Development for Concession, Engineer Fidelis Mweze Kings. Honorable Commissioner, sir.
Thank you. All protocols in place. I remain Engineer Nweze Fidelis Kings, Commissioner for Infrastructural Development for Concession Ebonyi State. The achievement of Ministry of Infrastructural Development to us in the ministry has remained a miracle. Miracle in the sense that the ministry is just 1 year, 1 month old. And so much has been done through the miracle. It can only be God who is the head. His Excellency Engineer David Mwezumahe created a ministry with the mandate to dualize most essential roads within the city and flyover bridges. I will not bore us with achievements of the Ministry of Works, but I will concentrate on that of the Ministry of Infrastructural Development. We are all aware that Ebonyi State government is constructing one of the best international airports in Africa, and the Ministry of Infrastructure is undertaking that project. The 4.1 kilometer runway is about 70% completed earthwork-wise. I think most of you have been in that area to see what His Excellency is doing. And the terminal building is ongoing now as we speak. The pipes have been completed. The pipe caps are about 95% completed. By next week, that will be achieved. The ground beams are ongoing. And it's a wonder to be behold. I charge some of us to visit that area and see what His Excellency is doing in that location. The 4-kilometer entrance road, the earthworks and drainages has all been completed and the concrete ongoing. I think the concrete of that entrance road is about 20% completed as we speak now. We are equally charged to construct a flyover bridge at Nkalago Junction. The Nkalago Junction, we know, will be, because of the traffic expected into the cement industry that will soon commence there, we decided to put up a double flyover bridge of 20 span each, double 20 span each, spanning over 500 meters. That flyover is a miracle. A miracle in the sense that work commenced on 15th of July this year. Some of you who passed through that road during the heat of the COVID, we know that there was no flyover there. But if you go there now, you will see a wonder. 3 months gone by, but all the piles, all the beams, all the pile caps are already completed within 3 months. This is a wonder. It can only be in Ebonyi, and it can only be God. And it can only be under His Excellency Engineer David Mwezumahe. It has never been seen anywhere. The Izambo flyover bridge is about 630 meters, 6-span bridge with about 300 meters retaining walls on both sides. That contract, that job commenced November 2019, and as of today, 11 months after, that job is 95% completed. 95%. What is remaining is the wings, just the wings to complete them. And we believe God that between now and January, we'll put it to use. It can only be under His Excellency Engineer David Mwezumahe, a wonder in the southeast. This ministry has equally commenced the dualization of a section of Abakaliki Enugu Road as promised by His Excellency. We took a section from EBBC to 135, about 8 kilometers. You can hear figures here, not cases, like Hag said. That job is about 70% completed. The concrete works are ongoing. Earthworks is about 95% completed, with a 2-span bridge at Nkwajaki, about 90% completed equally. We are equally dualizing extension of Abakaliki Afikpo Road from Mami Market. We have passed, the concrete is at the new timber shed now, while the earthworks is approaching the airport junction. And at the airport junction, we're equally doing a 20-span flyover bridge. The essence is to reduce traffic congestions that will be expected, because the airport has to be a busy one. It will be a busy one because it will be a wonder to be behold. Quite a number of things being undertaken by the Ministry of Infrastructural Development, which most of you are aware. time will fail me to begin to say all this, but what are the challenges? Our challenges in the ministry is how to create more days from the night, how to recoup days from the night to enable us achieve all that we want. And finally, the ministry, the development through the ministry has engendered economic development of these states. We're all aware of that, and has equally reduced poverty in the state. Thank you, and God bless you as we wait for questions during the question and answer.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Works. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Commissioner for Infrastructural Development for Concession. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next presentation will come from Honorable Commissioner for Human Capital Development and Monitoring, Honorable Mrs. Anne Aligwe, Mother General.
All protocols observed. All of you know that Human Capital Development and Monitoring Ministry is the hub of every state. We're in Ebonyi State here, we have empowered 3,000 Ebonyi youths and women at the cost of 2.8 billion naira. Second, address empowerment scheme for civil servants at the cost of 4 billion naira. SME empowerment for entrepreneurs, artisans, craftsmen, and others at the cost of 3 billion naira. 1 man 1 hectare agric loan for 53,000 persons at the cost of 8 billion naira. Procurement of 400 tricycles for Ebonyans Okada riders operating in Onitsha at the cost of 650 million naira. Empowerment of Ebonyi market women at 150 million naira. Agric empowerment of 403 security-wise personnel with a sum of 200 million naira. Empowerment of 12 Ebonyans, youths and women with a sum of 33 million naira each at the cost of 36 million naira. Procurement and empowerment of 78 Ebonyans with Sienna buses at the cost of 195 million naira. Training and empowerment of 3,000 Ebonyi youths and women under skill acquisition at the cost of 3 billion naira. Implementation of the conditional cash transfer program, which is ongoing now. If you go to Osborne now, you will see about 260 Ebonyans are being trained now as facilitators to go into the rural areas and disburse the cash transfer. All these things were not done before this administration. We now have a social safety net program, and early this year, by February, the produce and in the national day list that Ebonyi was the last in the whole country. We don't have any data. As I'm talking to you now, since March this year up till now, we've generated 400 and something thousand household data in the National Social Register, and based on that, Ebonyi was awarded with a prize in September this year. Then we now have a home school feeding program that was stopped in 2016. We have been able to revive it now. It's ongoing too. Then a selection and empowerment of 5,000 Ebonyans under NDE program that we did in March, and the second batch of the 13,000 Ebonyans is ongoing now. They will start disbursement by October. Then as I'm talking to you now, we have the survival fund program for SMEs. Some are being given 50,000, some 30,000 is ongoing now. The registration is going on now. We have a lot of things, a lot of packages, like the Jeep. We are reviving the Jeep program. By November, Ebonyans will start receiving their Jeep. We've been able to revive the Empower program. The Empower existed batch A and batch B. They'll start receiving their stipends in the next 2 weeks. We have a lot of empowerment programs going on in Ebonyi State, courtesy of His Excellency Engineer Apostle David Nwezomahe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Human Capital Development and Monitoring. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next presentation will come from Honorable Commissioner for Finance and Economic Development, Honorable Orlando Okechukwu-Nweze. Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning, our dear listeners. Good morning, the media partners and the entire state. Good morning to all of us. Today, as we mark the 24th anniversary of our state, we thank our governor. We salute him so well for his pragmatic leadership and courageous way of steering the ship of the state. Congratulations to Nigeria. Let me foremost lay down some mandates that we have at the Ministry of Finance. As our ministry is a service ministry, the mandate that is before us to achieve our aims is to develop and mobilize and manage prudently available finance and economic resources before us. And further in this ministry, we are designed equally to make sure that we sustain economic development. The core functions of this ministry include treasury and budget administration, economic management and state development planning coordination, financial administration and management. As an integral part of this mandate, our major responsibility of this ministry is to mobilize resources for economic development, improve accountability for the use of resources, facilitate improvement in project implementation and monitoring processes, ensure strict adherence to budgetary processes, facilitate the contributing role of private sector and non-governmental organizations in strategic creation of greater prosperity amongst us in the state. Facilitate and support citizens' economic empowerment scheme and facilitate involvement of the state in regional and global economic issues. With the mandate in mind, we have developed drastic change approach in ways that we do things, and this currently is redefining the financial sector. The newly launched Ebonyi Finance Performance for Results, EBBC for Arrow policy in the ministry is already leading us to success. As a very vital sector, we align ourselves to the plans and targets of His Excellency, the Governor of the state. This has helped us in no small measure to getting things rightly done. The discipline we require, the attitude for progress and mindset for service, all carefully has been put in progress to make sure that we achieve our aim. The ministry's achievement, the budget administration, the state has consistently maintained timely and comprehensive preparation and passage of state annual budgets. The preparation of the revised 2020 budget has accommodated the realities of the time. The budget was timely and it covers a wide range of things that has to manage the crisis of COVID-19 and effectively cushion the effect of COVID-19 as recovery packages. The pragmatic governor in his usual visionary approach has given quite a whole lot of ideas on how we needed to follow through things, and of course they have actually shown a great level of results. Looking at the international markets, their industrial cluster and more, these are areas that we have done a whole lot and making sure that we put things together according to the budget. The state government through our ministry have been able to incorporate the civil society and some other organizations, the citizenry generally, while doing budget processes. Of course, recently we got a high recommendation from the World Bank, and they are commending us for what we've been able to do so far with transparency, accountability for public funds, and this is out there in our website. Of course, the website equally hosts the budget of the state annually, and you can look up the website for more details on the budget. And the financial administration of the state, we have carefully managed and received in unique manners the way we do things and the way we manage funds. It is no longer news that many times that the government is not interested in borrowing monies every now and then. We are actually paying up the debts that were met before 2015. Thank you very much, and we hope that we'll be able to get you more engaged as you go through our website and get more details for your consumption. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next presentation is coming from Honorable Commissioner for Health, Dr. Daniel Umezrike.
Thank you. May I stand on the already established protocol and thank the Almighty God who has made today a possibility by granting Nigeria 60 years of independence and Ebonyi State 24 years of creation. It's not a small measure. I want to thank our phenomenal, our transformational, and our God-given and wonder-working governor, His Excellency Chief Engineer David Umahi, and the amiable wife, because we wouldn't have achieved all this, we wouldn't have gotten to all this height without these rare gems that has come to lead Ebonyi State at this very important moment. I want to say that presenting my scorecard within 5 minutes is just like scratching the surface, but I will try to just list, and suffice it to say that there has been a steady improvement in the health system in Ebonyi State since 2015 when we came on board. And somebody is also to say that Ministry of Health is a service ministry charged with the responsibility of formulating health policies and supervising its implementation, and also alerting government on new cases. And we have not failed in our mandate. I want to say that since the creation of Ebonyi State, it hasn't been so good as it is today, and Ebonyi State has recorded landmark achievements in the following areas: the construction of a virology center in 2016 by His Excellency the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, because previously when Ebonyi State started having cases of Lassa fever in 2005, the challenges we used to face is taking samples to Ilu Specialist Hospital to confirm cases, and also not having any isolation centers to manage these cases. But when we enumerated these challenges, His Excellency charged us to construct and equip an ultra-modern virology center in Feta 2. And that also helped us when the challenge of COVID came on board, that we have already had all the equipments, all the isolation wards to manage these cases of COVID. And also because of the presentation we made after our baseline investigation in 2015, the government noticed that our health system has been on the very low ebb, and we commenced the construction and equipping of the 171 primary health centers, one in each political wards. And also in 2016, we also commenced the upgrading of the 13 general hospitals, one in each local government area. And presently, we are undertaking the construction and equipping of an ultra-modern multi-specialty hospital, the Ebonyi State University Teaching Hospital in Uburu, which is the state-of-the-art hospital that will manage all the cases that take people to Europe, America, and India. And Ebonyi State will be self-sufficient in healthcare delivery and also become a destination point to medical tourism. We have also revitalized School of Nursing and Midwifery Uburu. We have upgraded the School of Health Technology Umbu, and the ministry has done excellently well in the management of epidemics, Lassa fever, COVID-19, cholera outbreak. In fact, it's a thing of the past. And we have established the Primary Healthcare Development Agency and the Health Insurance Agency. We have also partnered with the Office of Her Excellency, our dear mommy, to fight against female genital mutilation, and also to fight against and also treat VVF among women that have suffered all these problems. The ministry has also enjoyed robust partnership with all the donor agencies, and Ebonyi State is an envy to most of the Southeast states in terms of partners, because we provide all the enabling environment for them to survive. For one of time, I don't want to overshoot my time. I have to abide by the timekeeper and pause for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. That was Commissioner for Health, Dr. Daniel Umezurike. Next presentation is coming from Engineer Professor Ubonaya Chukwu, Honorable Commissioner for Commerce and Industry. Prof.
Thank you very much. I want to stand on the existing protocol to inform us that the Minister of Commerce and Industry in Ebonyi State were created in 1996 with the following policy objectives and the mandates: to enhance economic growth, establish viable industries, reduce unemployment and poverty among the people of the state. 2, to enhance cooperative development and increase commercial activities through registration, training, retraining, and the empowering of cooperative societies and the SMEs in the state. Achievements between 2015 and now. In the industrial sector, we have the Ebonyi Pipe Production Company Limited, Ezambo, established in 2015. It produces high quality HDPE pipes for water and the oil pipeline reticulation. It also produces PVC pipes for electrical wiring. We have the Ebonyi State Waste-to-Wealth plant, popularly called pulverization plant, established in 2017 with input capacity of 200 metric tons per day of municipal solid waste. Here we convert municipal solid waste into electrical and industrial energy up to 750 megawatts. We also produce organic fertilizer. We have industrial clusters established in 3 territorial zones in the state, at Ubru, at Zambo, and at Ntezi. Each of them has a cassava processing plant, at least one. The industrial clusters are to host different mechanical, electrical, and the agro-based companies in the state. In the commercial sector, we developed regional markets at Ezilo, Nkaragu, Okwombo, Ekafipo, and Pilipili, and others. Establishment of Margaret Omah International Market and the shopping mall. All those edifices were built with our money from Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Registration of over 4,865 cooperative societies. In doing that, we generated 7 million naira as IGR for the state. The ministry has increased the IGR of the state by 100 million through business premises fees, haulage fees. Those things used to be the responsibility of Ministry of Commerce. To boost the commercial activities of the state, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry has participated in different international trade fairs, such as Kaduna International Trade Fair, Enugu, Abuja National Trade Fair, and Lagos International Trade Fair. We have also organized with EBBC Agro-Def here in the state, which is what we call local trade fair. The ministry has built many small and medium businesses through funds for small-scale industries domiciled in the ministry, and with the help from BOI, the Bank of Industry, and SMEDAN. The ministry has organized many training workshops. More than 1,000 persons have acquired skills in detergent and soap making, baking and confectionery, etc. What are our impacts on the economy? We have opened the state to local and international investors, enhanced economic activities and growth, increased commercial activities, increased IGR, human capital development through trainings, enhanced entrepreneurship, and reduced unemployment and poverty among Ebonians. Our challenges. We have two key challenges in inadequate provision of fund and the inadequate power supply. Our prospects. The pulverization plant had the capacity to generate 750 megawatts of electricity, which we shall push into the national grid. Thank God the agreement was signed yesterday during the ESCO meeting. The export and import trades will be enhanced when Ebonyi International Airport becomes operational. And the deployment of the shopping mall international market will enhance our increased activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Professor Bonachuku, Commissioner for Commerce. May I at this point invite Honorable Commissioner for Lands and Survey, Chief Emmanuel Ogro Abarikije, for his presentation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. There's nobody who spoke here that did say that his ministry or MDA is operating on anywhere other than the land. And so I want to appreciate them that they are making good use of the land we've given to them, to the glory of God. The Ministry of Land, under His Excellency and under us, came to be just about 2 years ago. Why do I say that? Prior to that period, it was Ministry of Lands, Survey and Housing and Urban Development. Now, by 1st of January 2019, it was splitted, and Housing and Lands became autonomous ministries. And so, Ministry of Lands, as you can see, has done a lot under His Excellency the Governor. If you go to Centenary City, you will see a lot of activities going there, and two major estates, Camp David and estate number 2, are both having perimeter fencing, and the two of them,
the area of the two of them is 10.01 kilometer. Ministry of Land has given our land to different associations, such as Computer Village just a few days back. They are coming to establish in Ebonyi State. The Nigerian Police Force, Raw Material and Research Institute, Association of Industrial Pharmacists of Nigeria, Poultry Association of Nigeria, parts of different sizes and for different lorries. Ebonyi indigenes in the armed forces of Nigeria have all been mapped out land for them to build their residential houses. Nigeria Immigration Service, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Custom, the Catholic Diocese of Abakaliki, among others. Redesigning of Abapa Market, that is going to become residential area, is already being redesigned. Enumeration and payment of compensation to sundry individuals, persons whose rights and interests have been affected in one way or the other. Rehabilitation of 3 affected communities in the Ochudo Centenary City, that is Agbaja, Inimego, and Iwego communities. Automation system successfully installed for printing and issuance of certificate of occupancy and or deed of certificate to boost IGR. This is to say that the ministry is both service and IGR generating ministry. Acquisition of land and supervision of timber market and the new building material after the army barracks. Perimeter parcellation and survey of land for government projects in different locations in the state, and acquisition of industrial clusters in Ebonyi North, Ebonyi Central, and Ebonyi South. Just yesterday in ESCO, Ebonyi State Government, through the Ministry of Land, personated and made out land for allocation to individuals in government within and without, to the tune of about 405 allocations we are giving out yesterday to interested persons. And also, government of Ebonyi State through Ministry of Land has asked that Ebonyans who have not been covered in this allocation should apply to be given land free of charge, but it must be developed within a given period. And so we also use this opportunity to inform you that these lodges that are available, at least to cushion the effect of the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Chief Emmanuel Ogro. Next presentation is from Honorable Commissioner for Business Development, Dr. Steve Odo.
Standing on all the existing protocols. The Ministry of Business Development was created by His Excellency on the 27th of December 2019, and we took off 6th of January 2020, just 9 months from now. And we have this mandate. One is to facilitate the improvement of business in Ebonyi State, promote development of MSME sectors for job creation by pursuing His Excellency's second address initiative. We also mandated to ensure that there is entrepreneurial capacity development among the youth, promote his local content policy, promote export trade, and ensure that Ebonyi State is seen as an investment destination. What have we done within these 9 months? First, we focused on capacity building. Well, first of all, we've been able to go around the 13 local government twice, trying to preach the second address initiative of His Excellency the Governor. We also organized on the ministry a weekly entrepreneurship training for startups and existing businesses. We recently established Umari MSME mentorship scheme, where we match make successful businessmen with upcoming businessmen. On the state financial inclusion policy, economic diversification and job creation, we established the Ebonyi Export Club that is aimed at driving the export trade through encouraging our indigenous businessmen. We are also working with the State Bank, the Abakaliki Bankers Committee, recruiting 650 rural bank agents across the 13 LGAs. We are currently profiling all unemployed Ebonyans to be able to identify our capacity gap for, so that we'll be able to know exactly areas of focus in terms of our planning of the economy. On ease of doing business, we hold regular monthly meetings with MSMEs under what we call the MSME Stakeholders Forum. We're also currently collecting data of MSMEs across the 13 LGS in the state. We also, since January, collecting business plans online through the ministry for existing businesses so that we'll be able to assist them in accessing funds. On access to finance for SMEs, we were able to, working with Zenith Bank, obtained 400 million naira, which were made available for business pay from international market, the Kaba market, and the Poultry Dealers Association. Through the effort of the ministry and the promotion of the ministry, about 2,126 existing SMEs were able to get shortlisted for the ASMIS loan of the CBN, and over 108 persons have so far accessed the fund. During the COVID-19 targeted credit facility, the ministry also, through its promotion and support, assisted 1,278 SMEs to benefit from the program. And the ministry, working with other MCS, Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Investment, are also focused, leading the states in the Nigerian CARES program, which facilitates our collaboration with the World Bank. Then, just very recently, the State Ministry of Business Development, working with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Investment, also hosted the Business Forum. What is the prospect of the ministry? The prospect of the ministry and the hope of the ministry is to drive the economy of Ebonyi State by growing the MSME, because we understand all over the world, the economies are driven by the growth of MSMEs. Wherever there is focus in MSMEs, there is hope for employment, there is hope for job creation, there is hope for revenue generation, and that is the focus of the ministry, and that is the mandate the Excellency have given to the ministry, and we are doing that, believing that when the MSMEs are sustained, this economy will also be sustained. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Business Development, Dr. Steve Odo. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me at this point invite Dr. Onyebuchi Chima, Honorable Commissioner for Education, for his presentation.
Thank you all. I want to thank His Excellency for today. I want to thank Nigerians for today, celebrating our 24th birthday and 60th birthday. I want to say this: the mandate of the Ministry of Education is to be a strong, competitive, reliable model for psychological, intellectual, economic, social development through sound educational opportunities. Before I proceed, I want to draw our attention to a quotation of a man that we all know is highly educated. That is our late brother Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General of the United Nations. He said, "Without education, we cannot see beyond ourselves and our narrow surroundings to the reality of global interdependence. Without education, we cannot realize how people of other races and religions share the same dreams, the same hope." This indeed is what has been going on in Ebonyi State. His Excellency, for the 5 years he has been in the leadership of this state, have embedded education on the understanding that we are globally interconnected and that all races matters, that for us to have great opportunities for education, we have to integrate other people. And that is why in the Ministry of Education, we have people from northern Nigeria, southern Nigeria, western Nigeria, and all parts teaching as our teachers. Let me inform you that Ministry of Education have been so well utilized by the governor of this state. Everyone appointed to become part and parcel of the governance of this state had all been those that are well educated, not just certificated, including members of ESCO. The Ministry of Education have over 15 parastatals. The library, the scholarship, the adult, vocational, King David, EBBC, College of Education, Ikwo, Secondary Education Board, UBEB, SSA Higher Education, and most recently, His Excellency, in understanding the importance of education, also established and appointed 13 essays on school monitoring. Let me emphasize this. Education in Ebonyi State has been drawn and footed on
strong pedestals. One, STEM education. What do we mean by STEM education? Education in Ebonyi State has been restructured. Now we are focused on what we call STEM: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Of course, this is seen in what we are doing in King David Gifted Academy, in the first of its kind in the southeast of Nigeria, where we want to capture our children, our young Nigerians, and train them to become our own Armstrongs. We also focus on girls and adult education. Without girls and adult education, I know within this week we'll be celebrating World Girls Day. Adult education has become paramount in Ebonyi State in order to remove us from this description that we are educationally disadvantaged. No, we are not. For the past 5 years or 10 years, we've been number 10, standing equal with every other state. We've also, in this state, introduced what we call entrepreneurial education. In other words, we don't just graduate people that we have certificates. The Commissioner for Infrastructure and Works have said what they are doing. All the people working for them are indeed children that we've educated here in Ebonyi State. Most of them from our university and technical colleges. We've also expanded opportunities in not just having a conventional education. We have now vocational education. We have the best vocational education southeast, if not in Nigeria. So in summary, I want to inform the members of the press that education in Ebonyi State has gone 3 levels. 1, international. Because we are opening up Ebonyi State to the international world with the establishment of international airport and a co-host of them. We are providing quality education to enable investors that will come here to train their children, and locally we are strengthening our education. I do not want to talk about construction because construction is going on in all our schools. Ladies and gentlemen, as you ask your questions, I provide you more details in all these points. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Education. Another presentation is coming from Commissioner for Environment, Comrade Jonah Odo Eba. Honorable Commissioner.
My dear brothers and sisters in the service of our dear state, under the watch of His Excellency Engineer David Nweze Umahi, who himself is an environment-friendly governor. Environment is made up of 3 components, namely air, water, and land. The life of man or animal or plant depends on these 3 components. Man, in his desire to take dominion over the earth, developed technologies to aid his activities, which incidentally has created negative impacts on the environment. And so any of the components that has been affected due to man's activity will eventually affect the man's life on earth. Therefore, the Ministry of Environment is created to control man's activity and his technology by making rules, regulations, policies, plan and protection of the environment and resources therein. The following, among others, are the core responsibilities or functions of the ministry. It has to plan, it has to develop plan and strategies, policies related to environment. It integrates environmental protection and socio-economic development plan and promotes sustainable use of water resources. It monitors climate change in collaboration with federal agencies and international organizations. And also, it controls the waste management and conservation, soil conservation and flood and erosion control. These are some of our achievements in summary. One, Ebonyi State, the state capital has been raised to one of the cleanest and most beautiful cities in this nation. The town is divided into 14 zones under the supervision of serious active youths that take care of each of the zones. Now they are called coordinators. One establishment of waste recycling plant, which the plan has reached, say, to hand this plant over to a private company that will utilize the waste of the state, the solid waste of the state, to the wealth of the state. The major road side and median in the capital city have been planted with ornamental flowers and trees to give green environment in the state. 12 forests and games reserve in 3 senatorial zones were identified for protection and preservation. Enlightenment and sensitization of the people on reforestation have been carried to all communities and the local government. The ministry, through the collaboration of Anambra Imo River Basin Development Authority, is working to attract integrated mitigation and adaptation development projects to the state, such as dam irrigation for agriculture, channelization of rivers for the control of erosion and the flood, installation of guardian lights to beautify the state, embarked on construction of Iyoku Iyudele through NUMAP. NUMAP is Nigeria Erosion and West Shade Management Project, and they also constructed they have finished construction on the control of erosion at Unguzeda. The distribution of 117 cargo tricycle, 1,118 cooking stove, gas cylinder, 20 waste bins to erosion and flood intervention site community have been completed. The provision of 18 solar powered borehole overhead tank, installation of 1 number 30 kVA solar powered system, 1 number solar power cassava processing mill for flood and erosion site communities had also been completed. The enlightenment, we have established Engineer David Nwezumae botanical garden that shall provide trees and flower seedling for the state and the public. This is one of the innovations that were brought to the state. All other states will be coming for the purchase of the seedlings. Concreting and interlocking the road bed and the median to raise the status of the capital city is ongoing, and contribution of contribution to our IGR through environmental fees and fines is one of our achievements in here. Establishment of environmental marshal to enforce the environmental law is also have been set in place. Where our challenges that people are ignorant of the law and implication of environment, but we are going on.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Environment. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, last presentation is coming from Senior Special Assistant to His Excellency on Investment, Barrister Chioma Mweze.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'll stand on existing protocol. I've been made to understand that I'm the last presenter because I'm the mother of investment and the mother of everybody, almost everybody in the house. I'm the mother of human capital development because she's investing in people. I'm the mother of business development, SME, welfare matters, health too. And in investments, we have been able to do a lot of infrastructure too, to also aid our people and to help them to be able to forge ahead. The Ministry of Investment was set up to harness the state's resources. We deal with everything investment, everything that the state is doing on investments. We are there. We help them to craft their MOUs. We help them to reach decisions. We help them to reach agreements, and we also help investors to be able to stay in Ebonyi State and to be able to thrive in the state. Under agriculture, we've been able to do we've been able to partner with CBN on the cultivation of cash crops and agricultural commodities. We've also partnered with CBN on development of agricultural estates in all the 13 local governments in Ebonyi State. On livestock, we've been able to partner with NISAL to finance our livestock farmers. On solid mineral, we are working with SMDF, that's the Solid Mineral Development Fund, to develop our salt and our limestone. We have been able to we are working to develop our limestone granules to use in the production of fertilizer. On housing, we are working with Federal Mortgage Bank to build houses for civil servants. They requested for 10 hectares of land, which the governor has graciously given to them, and they've also written to tell us that they have awarded a contract for the building of the houses for civil servants. We're also working with Family Homes Fund to build houses for displaced persons and people in different areas of the state. under Ebonyi Investment and Property and Ebonyi Investment Property and Company Limited, we've been able to establish a desk to help the unemployed in Ebonyi State. We help them to apply online because we found out that most people don't know how to go online and apply for jobs, and it has been a hindrance to them. So we've been able to establish a desk under Ebonyi Investment Property and Company Limited. We market the state products. We lease the shopping mall and sell international markets. We also lease the industrial clusters. We give soft loans to civil servants. We call it quick relief. Then where we are looking at what we are going to do under the Ministry of Investment, we have an agreement with NNPC that we signed yesterday for the promotion and development of cassava plantations and fuel ethanol in Ebonyi State. It's going to take off by this month. This is October, yes, and the contractor will be on site by December to start work. We are also working on developing a PPP law for the states, which will enable the state to enter into PPP agreements, and also like the airports and managing of the teaching hospital. We are also going to sign an agreement with Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria to site a pharma park in the states, which will enable them to start producing their drugs internally and locally, which is in line with NAFDAC's 5x5 rule. We are also partnering with the federal government on the free trade zone that has been approved in Afikpo. They have written us severally that we should hasten the CFO for the free trade zone, which the Commissioner for Lands is working on. And he's right that most developments are on lands, they cannot be in the air. So we are working with federal government on development of the free trade zone in Afikpo, and it has been approved, and the money for it has also been approved. We are working on concession in our rice mills and our cassava processing plants that are in the different industrial zones. We are also working on having an agreement with Gas Company of Nigeria and to aggregate the gas needs of the investors in Ebonyi State so that they can be able to tap into power in Nigeria at a lower cost and also lower the cost of their production. We thank everybody that has made presentation, and we thank all the ministries that we are working with, including our lovely Commissioner for Market Development sitting by my side. We thank them for the efforts they have done and what they have done so far in aiding the investment in the states, and we hope to do more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. SSC on investment. That was a very good presentation. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for comments and questions from gentlemen of the press, as well as our listeners and viewers at home. And if you want to be part of this program, if you are calling from outside, you can call 070-8576-3054 or 08159279460. I take that again, 070-8576-3054 or 08159279460. At this point, I would like to invite the chairman of NUJ, Ebonyi State Council, Comrade Tony Mwezi, to tell us the rule.
Thank you very much. Let me rest on the already established protocol for want of time. I want to commend the Honorable Commissioners and other members of the State Executive Council who have made their presentations. You have made your presentations very clear, and we have heard you very well. It's time now for questions and answers. We are going to question your presentations, and we also have your answers, and also question your answers until your answers become unquestionable. And you took 5 minutes to do your presentations, and I believe that benediction is not going to be hard and high mass. So both the questions and your answers it is not good to be more than 5 minutes. It's not justifiable. And so we are going to make everything snappy because time is of essence. Now, members of the press, we are going to take this question session in segments of 3 questions per segment. And before you ask your question, you identify yourselves and the medium you represent. Then no protocols and go straight to your questions. Identify your respondents and no multiple questions. So the first set of people to ask questions can indicate.
My name is Benjamin Warrior, Vice Chairman, Ebony State NUJ, and I also represent these day newspapers. I want to ask the Coordinating Commissioner and SAG. This question has been on public domain, and I want to reproduce it here. And my question is, what is causing the delay for the distribution of the cars meant for the coordinators? And when is it likely going to be distributed? The second one goes to Commissioner for Works. I've been reading on papers where the president approved refund for states for the construction of federal roads. And the Ebonyi State has done quite well on this area or aspect. What is the problem? Why has Ebonyi State not been captured for any refund? Thank you.
My dear colleagues, my name is Sir Emmanuel Irem. I write for Trumpet Magazine. My question goes to the Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and the head of service. Number one, local government. The 10 million naira you mentioned. Well, I am from Afikpo, not local government area, and I have not seen that any local government received their own. I would like you to tell us more about that 10 million naira. Whether my local government area have also disbursed their own. Then I go to the head of service. I want to know, you said workers have been paid 40% of, that is retired workers have been paid 40% of their gratuities. Then the remaining 60%, when will they receive the remaining 60%? Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Godwin Alona. I live in sec of NUJ and I write for Daily Post. My question is on road. Sir, indeed the governor is doing well in terms of infrastructure, but on the issue of road pertaining from Wekendeki Indikri Road, recall that recently during the election time, governor promised that he will put that road on use. But up till now, knowing the fact that that road, Indikri Road and that Wekendeki Road, governor promised that he will do it. And that place is a hometown of the third person of this state, the chief judge. I think he deserves to be given something. So the road should be. I'm asking, why is it a delay to do that road up till now, even after the promise? The second one is on the issue of ring road. I think the ring road have been about 3 times being postponed. That it said last year, it said it will commence in August. Up till now, why is the delay?
Okay, head coordinating commission.
Thank you. The first question from this, the
newspapers, Nwode Benjamin, is regards the vehicle of the coordinators. When are they getting the vehicle? Let me make it clear that the government have given the first set of coordinators appointed, 13 of them, vehicles at the inception of this administration, and immediately order for the remaining 51 coordinators. And I know this year started with challenges. The contract was entered into in 2019 with Globe Motors to supply these vehicles, and government followed the terms of agreement. But because of COVID-19 pandemic and the challenges thereof, the supply of these vehicles became problems along the way. My office, with the office of the Honorable Attorney General, under the supervision of His Excellency the Governor, have been on it. And let me happily announce that at the beginning of this week, we got all the vehicles supplied to government. And all this supply would have ended on or before March, but because of COVID challenges, they were not supplied. And let me equally announce that the Ebonyi State government is owing no kobo to the company that supplied this vehicle. The last batch of payment was made this week, even when they have defaulted, but since they have supplied, the government graciously said, okay, let's pay off. Now, I am going to present the vehicles to the governor after this celebration of October 1st, and the government will sit down and decide when the coordinators will get their vehicles. So the challenge has been COVID-19 pandemic, but strongly we are getting over it, and we are owing nobody a dime as a concerned vehicle. Thank you.
Head of Service.
Mr. Irem asked about the balance of 60% of gratuity to retirees. His Excellency the Governor plans everything he does very well. I believe that plans are underway to pay the balance of 60% gratuity to retirees. Recall again that nobody planned for COVID-19, which has retrogressed most of the activities of government and indeed the international community. So I believe that before the governor bows out of office, he will definitely pay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner for Local Government.
Yes, the community 10 million. Afiko North is one of the 13 local governments. And of course, this was launched in the stadium. And what we did was we released the money in accordance with the number of autonomous communities in each local government. They are not of equal number. For example, Ohazra has, I'm giving you an example of our own. We have about 9 autonomous communities or thereabout. Ishelu has 17, but Afik North may not have up to that. So, and they are released to their development center, autonomous communities, town union presidents for identified projects. We went around the whole world of 40 autonomous communities. Each autonomous community identified a project they will do with it. So I will encourage you, perhaps, to go back to your community, make a very thorough investigation of which one was chosen by your autonomous community. Because it cannot be of general application. My autonomous community choose market, and they have been on it. So it is what autonomous communities. If you have any challenge, let me know.
Thank you. Commissioner for Works.
Yeah, thank you very much. So he asks why no presidential approval for a fund to Ebonyi State. Well, tell you honestly, the state government had made representations to the federal government. Severally, even the National Assembly visited to investigate these matters. But like you said, we have not been refunded. So as soon as we are refunded, we'll also let the press know. About the Effium Inikiri Road, like I said when I was making my initial presentation, that the governor had promised 15 kilometers of road in all the local government areas. As no example, Effium Road is 20 kilometers. Like I said, we are still counting. So sooner than later, it may be the turn of Effium Inikiri Road, and it will be done. On the ring road, well, like the SIG and the coordinating commissioner said, the pandemic has really affected quite a lot of things, including the processing of the ring road contract. I know the contenders had already been called before the total lockdown, and of course the loan had already been granted to the state government. So we are still very hopeful. Even yesterday the governor informed everybody, and I know you were there, that before the end of this year that project will take off. I don't know whether the Commissioner for Infrastructure has anything to add about the ring road.
Okay, thank you. I'll just, in addition, the Effium Mwekendego Inikiri Road is 15 kilometers, and it is part of the what we call feeder roads to the ring road. Is a feeder road, and I think that road is part of the roads that will be constructed as a feeder road to the ring road. That has been marked for construction, although that road has earlier been surveyed, and the survey is with the Ministry of Works and Transport, with the two bridges in Inikiri and what is the other one? The one at our boundary with Benue State. Then on the ring road, the process is ongoing. You know, technical bids have been received, opened, and contractors shortlisted in both in the ring road, both for Islamic Bank and African Development Bank. There is what we call redesign. You know, we have to bring another consultant who is going through the initial design done during the past administration, and we had the consultant was we had meeting with the consultant yesterday and His Excellency, and he promised that by next week he's going to bring up his reports, and with that we'll go to commercial bidding, which will be done within this month. On His Excellency has promised, and going by the bank procedures, this is not a Ebonyi State award, it is the bank, and the bank has a process and a procedure. That job will be awarded on or before November. We promise that, and I promise, and you know that whatever we promise we do. Thank you, and God bless us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, then take it also that the ring road, the government is insisting must be of complete evidence. It is not going to be artifacts. So that you record it very well, so that it will be of Ebonyi standard and the Ecuadorian standards. Thank you.
Thank you. We still have gentlemen of the press who I got to ask questions, and also callers from our various homes. We shall be taking it intermittently. We'll take calls from outside, then we'll take questions from gentlemen of the press. Odo.
Thank you so much. My name is Amechi Odo of Radio Nigeria. So recently we've noticed, my question is being directed to the Commissioner for Infrastructure Development and Concessioning. It has to do with flyovers. It has often, or they have often been shut down for certain repairs, and is generating concern among residents, because we recall that a sister state in the southeast completely, closed the what they call it, the flyover for certain categories of vehicles, and we wouldn't want our own to be like that. So what's the cause of incessant closure of flyovers for repair? Then secondly, to the Honorable Commissioner for Works, I would have started just like Ben Wori did, but let me add to that, how much has been spent on federal roads and other projects being done on federal roads, like the flyover, so that we can know what to tell federal government how much it is owing to their state. And another question goes to the Commissioner for Commerce. In 2016 or thereabouts, the state governor took all of us down to Afikpo for a regional market. It was said then that the Eke market would be shifted close to the junction, but after that the project was abandoned. So why is it so? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a caller. Hello. 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 Okay, next question, please.
Thank you very much. I am Amarachukwe Waga. I report for Blueprint newspaper. My question, number one, we're going to the Commissioner for Agriculture. Sir, during your presentation, you said that the Ezola farm alone produces 5 billion metric tons of rice. So, okay, thank you for the correction. Thank you for that information. And other parts of the state also produces rice, I know. My question is this: why is the cost of price in Ebonyi State still on the high price? And again, is there any way the state regulates the price? Because tomorrow it will come down, next tomorrow it will go high. Then my next question is going to the Commissioner for Environment. Sir, you said that the state is about the cleanest state in the country. And currently, Nigeria is battling open defecation in the state. And Ebonyi State has been tagged to be #1 state practicing open defecation. What is the government doing to curb this menace? Thank you.
Where is your record?
Thank you. Last question in this category. Last question in this category. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Nabal.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Nabobo Bonna. I represent Daily Trust newspapers. My question goes to Commissioner for Works. Before now, I know at the early stage of this administration that some tractors and trucks and some other equipment were bought by this government. And it was alleged that most of those tractors and equipment has been sold. So please, we want to have details to whom and who that bought that properties. The other one again is for Commissioner for Local Government, sir. Some of the local government some of the local government chairmen are still alleging that the financial autonomy has not been fully implemented. So we want to know why and why is it happening. Then the other issue is, I don't know if the Commissioner for Market is here. There is a issue of market development in Ebonyi State. Most of the traders at the market allege that they are paying hugely to have or to own a shop at the international market. Others also claims that most of the markets there, that's the stories building ones, are not being owned by them, and it is being owned by one of the stakeholders that are not here. So we want clarification, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, let me invite Commissioner for Infrastructure to respond to questions directed to you.
Thank you, Amechiodo. You asked why at times the flyovers will be closed down for maintenance. One is to put on record that the flyovers constructed within Ebonyi State can carry any number of vehicles and trucks. The flyovers actually, each span actually constructed to carry about 210 tons. 210 tons, that is about 3 trailers put together on one particular span. That is, there is no fear of any deformity at all on the flyovers built in Ebonyi State. Many persons has called us our attention that we should put barricades. We didn't construct the flyovers to put barricades or for smaller trucks or smaller vehicles. It is constructed for heavy duty trucks. That is number one. So there is no fear on the flyovers constructed in Ebonyi State. Two is that the maintenance that you see is just on what I would call asphalt failure. It is not on the main structure of the flyovers. The main structure includes the beams, the deck slabs, and other concrete structures that associated with the flyover. But the asphalt, if you pass through the flyover, you will see, some at times the asphalt will peel, because asphalt most at times is not comparable with the concrete. At times